The salvage yard of Quezon Prime stretched farther than the eye could see. Rows upon rows of broken ships, cracked engines, and rusted metal hulls filled the barren desert. The air always smelled of dust, oil, and the faint tang of ozone from exposed wires. To most people, this place was nothing but a graveyard of lost technology. But to humans like Elias Cade, it was an opportunity. One last chance to climb out of the hole he had been stuck in for years. Elias stood at the edge of a large crowd gathered for the auction. Alien traders, scavengers, and criminals all huddled together, their voices buzzing in dozens of different tongues. His patched coat and worn boots made him look like any other human salvager, desperate, broke, and hoping for luck. Humans had no real place in the grand design of the galaxy. They were considered weak, primitive, always scraping by with second-hand tech. But Elias didn't care what aliens thought. He just needed a ship. The auctioneer, a four-armed Crescian with gray skin and a booming voice, banged a metal rod against the platform. "Lot 72, the alien shouted. Ancient warship hull, unidentified make, heavily damaged, non-functional. Starting bid 2,000 credits. The crowd stirred. A murmur passed among the aliens. Most weren't interested. A broken warship was a worthless prize, too damaged to fight, too strange to repair. But when the lights focused on the ship, Elias felt his heart skip. It was massive, though half buried in sand and scars. Its hull was blackened and cracked as if it had been through a war long forgotten. Strange patterns ran across its surface, etched like veins of silver that shimmered faintly even in ruin. It wasn't a design Elias recognized, and he prided himself on knowing ships from dozens of species. Whoever built it was either gone from the galaxy or hiding. The auctioneer called again. 2,000 credits. Who bids? Silence, no one raised a hand. No alien saw value in a ghost ship. Elias swallowed hard. He had 2,100 credits in total, his savings from years of repairing scrap engines for greedy bosses. If he spent it all here, he'd be left with almost nothing. No food money, no spare for repairs. But something inside him whispered, this ship was different. 2,000, Elias shouted. His voice cracked in the silence. The crowd laughed. A group of insectoid traders clicked their mandibles in amusement. A reptilian barked, "Human fool! Buy a coffin, crawl inside it, die happy." Elias ignored them. His cheeks burned, but he kept his eyes on the ship. The auctioneer's eyes flicked around. 2,000. Any other offers? No one answered. The aliens smirked, whispering to each other. No one wanted to waste their credits on garbage. The rod slammed down. Sold to the human. The laughter grew louder. Elias tried not to notice. He pressed his hand to the payment pad, transferring his entire fortune away in a blink. The ship was his. His pockets were now empty, but his heart pounded with something close to hope. Hours later, he stood inside the hangar where the ship had been dragged. The space was dim, lit only by flickering lamps and the faint glow of the alien hull. Elias placed his palm on the cold metal. "You're not dead," he whispered. "You've got secrets, don't you?" The ship was silent, but he swore he felt a vibration, like a faint heartbeat under layers of steel. Elias climbed inside through a torn opening in the hull. The corridor smelled of ash and age. The walls were lined with unknown symbols, angular and sharp, glowing faintly blue. His boots echoed as he moved deeper, flashlight cutting through the shadows. Most ships, even ruined ones, felt familiar. They had standard designs, cockpits, engine bays, cargo holds. But this ship was different. Its layout was alien, almost organic, twisting in strange curves that made him uneasy. He found what looked like a control chamber, with a cracked console and shattered glass panels. Dead for centuries, Elias muttered. But when he touched the console, faint lights flickered across it. Alien glyphs crawled onto the surface like living things. His breath caught. Still alive. He pulled out his toolkit, hands trembling with excitement. For hours he worked, splicing wires, rerouting power, connecting external batteries. Sweat rolled down his face, but he didn't stop. Piece by piece, the ship responded. Screens glowed faintly, systems hummed in protest, and somewhere deep inside, a hidden chamber opened with a low hiss. Elias froze. He followed the sound through a narrow passage until he reached a sealed door. The symbols around it glowed brighter as he approached, as if recognizing him. With a grinding screech, the door split open. Inside was a chamber unlike anything he had seen before. The walls pulsed with faint blue light, and in the center stood a large crystalline core, fractured but still glowing with strange energy. Wires, cables, and alien conduits all led into it like veins into a heart. Elias stepped closer, his breath shallow. "What are you?" he whispered. The core pulsed once, just once. The lights in the entire ship flickered on for a second, then died. But in that second, Elias swore he heard a sound, like a voice buried under static, faint and alien. His heart raced. This wasn't just a broken warship. This was something else, something hidden. As Elias stumbled back toward the hangar floor, alarms from outside echoed faintly. His tools buzzed, reacting to interference, and then it hit him. When he powered that core, the ship had sent a signal. Somewhere out in the vast reaches of space, someone or something had heard. Elias sat in the dark cockpit hours later, staring at the faint glow of alien symbols. His stomach was tight with both fear and excitement. He was broke, mocked, and stuck with a wreck nobody wanted. But he had seen enough in that chamber to know one thing. This ship wasn't worthless, it held a secret, one big enough to draw attention from powers far beyond Kessin Prime. The next morning the hangar was quiet, but Elias Cade did not sleep. He had spent the night inside the broken warship, staring at the strange chamber with the glowing crystal. Every time he closed his eyes, he remembered that faint sound, the whisper inside the static. Now, as the first weak light of Kessin Prime's sun fell through the hangar roof, Elias rubbed his tired eyes and stood. His body ached, but his mind was alive with questions. "What are you?" he asked the crystal again. The chamber was silent. Only the faint hum of dormant systems answered him. Still, he could not shake the feeling that the ship was watching him. Elias went back to the control chamber. The alien console still showed faint blue glyphs. He connected his portable scanner, trying to read energy patterns. The scanner flickered, struggling to understand the alien signals. Finally, the screen showed one word in his language: encrypted. He frowned. Encryption was expected. Every advanced ship used codes. But this was more than encryption. It felt alive. Elias tapped the console. "Come on, talk to me." The lights flickered again. The crystal chamber pulsed once more, and then a voice filled the air. Not through speakers. Not through the console. Inside his head. "Connection established. Identify yourself." Elias staggered back, his hand flying to his ears, but the sound wasn't outside. It was in his mind, clear as thought. I'm Elias Cade, human mechanic. Who are you?" The voice was deep, calm, but strange. Neither male nor female, almost like a chorus of tones speaking as one. "Designation, ERVS Experimental Core Unit, you may call me." "Erivos," Elias swallowed. "You're an AI?" "Correct. A restricted type of intelligence. Long band across the galaxy. Are you my new operator?" The words made Elias freeze. He had heard stories of AIs like this, not the weak navigation programs or market bots most species used. True self-learning AIs, old and dangerous, outlawed after wars centuries ago. Entire fleets had been lost to them. "No," Elias said quickly. "I didn't know you were here. I just bought this ship." The voice paused. "Then you are not prepared. But the signal has been sent. Others will come." Elias's heart sank. "Signal? You mean when I powered you up?" "Yes. This vessel was programmed to transmit a call if reactivated. It has already been received." Elias felt his chest tighten. Already received. That meant someone or something was now heading this way. He shook his head. "I don't want trouble. I just wanted a ship to fix. And yet you found me. That is no accident." The word sent a chill down Elias's spine. Hours passed as Elias argued with himself. He should shut the AI down, sell the ship, run before trouble came. But when he thought of leaving, his feet refused to move. This was his one chance. For years he had lived at the bottom, mocked, ignored, treated like trash by aliens who saw humans as scavengers. But now he stood in front of something none of them had. An ancient AI, a ship no one else dared touch, a secret big enough to shake the stars. Elias tightened his fists. He couldn't give it up. Outside, word had already spread. Salvagers whispered about the human who bought the broken warship. Some claimed they saw strange lights from the hangar at night. Others said the ship was cursed. But to greedy ears, all rumors meant the same thing: value. By evening, a group of alien bounty hunters arrived at the gates of the hangar. They were tall, armored, their eyes glowing with implants. One of them slammed a clawed hand against the gate. "Human!" The leader barked. We know what you found. Open the hangar. Surrender the ship. Elias froze inside. He peered through a crack, heart pounding. They had come faster than he expected. He looked at the console, at the faintly glowing symbols. Erebos, he whispered. Can you fight? The AI's voice was calm. Systems are damaged. Weapons offline. Engines at 7%. But survival is possible, if you act without hesitation. Elias's throat was dry. He had never fought anyone, never flown more than a junk freighter, but he had no choice. The hangar door rattled as the bounty hunters tried to break in. Elias jumped into the cockpit chair. Show me what to do. Glyphs on the console rearranged, forming shapes Elias somehow understood, like the ship was teaching him directly. His fingers moved across controls he had never seen before, yet they felt natural. The ship roared to life. Engines screamed. Dust blasted across the hangar. Outside, the bounty hunters shouted in alarm. With a thunderous crash, the ship forced itself free from the clamps and shot upward. The roof tore open, sending metal raining across the yard. Elias gripped the controls, his body pressed back into the seat. The stars of Kessin Prime's sky opened above him. For the first time in his life, he wasn't riding someone else's ship. He was flying his own. But the bounty hunters were not giving up. Small attack craft lifted from the salvage yard, chasing him into the upper atmosphere. Their engines glowed red as they fired plasma bolts toward the warship. Elias panicked. Shields! Do we have shields? Minimal. The ship shook as bolts slammed into the hull. Sparks flew across the cockpit. Elias bit down fear and followed the glowing symbols on the console. With a twist of the controls, the ship spun, dodging incoming fire with surprising agility. The bounty hunters cursed over comms, their alien voices full of anger. Elias grinned despite himself. For the first time, he wasn't just running, he was outmaneuvering them. Not bad for a scavenger, huh? He muttered. Erebos' voice was steady. Unpredictable, illogical, but effective. This is why humans are dangerous, Elias laughed, though his chest still shook with fear. You're starting to sound like you almost respect me. Respect must be earned. Survive this, and perhaps we will speak again. The chase tore through the skies of Kessin Prime. Plasma bolts burned the air. Engines roared. Elias's hands moved with instinct. Every decision made in split seconds. The warship, though damaged, responded like it wanted to fight. At last, Elias dove the ship toward a canyon outside the city. The bounty hunters followed, confident they had him trapped. But at the last moment, Elias pulled the ship upward, scraping against the canyon walls. The narrow passage tore at their formation. One hunter slammed into the rock and exploded in fire. The others scattered. Elias shot upward again, breaking through the atmosphere and into the cold black of space. His chest heaved with relief. For a long moment, silence filled the cockpit. Only the hum of the engines remained. Then Erebos spoke. You learn quickly. You adapt. That is rare. Elias leaned back, sweat dripping down his face. You're telling me. But then Erebos' voice grew darker. This is only the beginning. The signal has awakened more than scavengers. The Galactic Authority will come. Syndicates will come. You have something they all want, and now, you must decide what to do with it. Elias stared at the stars outside the cracked window. He had dreamed of escaping his small life, but he never imagined this. A broken ship. A living AI. A secret worth killing for. His lips pressed into a hard line. He didn't know what would happen next, but one thing was certain. He was not giving up this ship. That night, floating in orbit above Kessin Prime, Elias finally allowed himself to breathe. The stars stretched endlessly before him, cold and bright. For the first time, he wasn't trapped on the ground, fixing scraps for others. He was free. But freedom came with a price, and somewhere in the endless dark, ships were already moving toward him, drawn by the same signal that had awakened Erebos. Elias Cade, once just a poor mechanic, now carried a secret that could change the galaxy. The warship drifted above Kessin Prime, silent against the stars. Inside the cockpit, Elias Cade sat with his hands gripping the controls, still shaking from the escape. His heart hadn't slowed since the moment he lifted off. Every breath felt heavy. Erebos, the AI inside the ship, broke the silence. You cannot stay here. They will search the planet. Already signals spread through the Authority networks. Others are coming. Elias pressed his lips together. So where do we go? Away from this system. Beyond the Authority patrols. There is a place I can guide you. Elias hesitated. He didn't trust this AI, not yet. But he also knew he had no other option. The bounty hunters would be back, and the Galactic Authority was worse. If they found Erebos, Elias would disappear into a prison cell, if not a shallow grave. Fine, he said at last. Show me. The console glowed with shifting glyphs. A path appeared, stretching into deep space. Elias swallowed hard, pushed the controls forward, and the broken warship lurched into motion. The stars stretched into lines as the ship jumped into faster-than-light travel. For a time there was only silence and the strange beauty of hyperspace. But Elias's mind refused to rest. He thought of the bounty hunters, the laughter of the crowd at the auction, the way they called him a fool. And now, here he was, flying an ancient warship with a living AI whispering inside his head. It felt unreal. You said others will come, Elias muttered. How many? Dozens of factions. Some will want to capture me. Others will want to destroy me. All will want to silence you. Elias gave a tired laugh. Great, just what I needed. You should not underestimate the danger. Even now I detect pursuit. Elias sat up straighter. What? The console lit with red warnings. Behind them, several ships had entered the same hyperspace corridor. Small, fast, and heavily armed. They followed us? Elias growled. Yes, their drives are stronger than expected. They will close the gap. Elias's palms grew damp on the controls. He had escaped once, but this was different. He couldn't hide in hyperspace. He had to run or fight. Do we have weapons yet? Primary weapons offline. Secondary systems damaged, but there are other options. Elias hated the way Arivos said that. Other options? Like what? Trust me. Moments later, the pursuers opened fire. Blue plasma streaked through hyperspace, rocking the warship. Sparks flew in the cockpit as alarms screamed. Elias gritted his teeth. Erebos, we're getting torn apart. Adjust heading. 30 degrees starboard now. Elias obeyed. The warship shifted, narrowly avoiding a volley that would have split the hull. His eyes widened. Somehow Erebos saw patterns Elias couldn't. Again and again the AI gave commands. Elias followed, hands moving faster with each order. The ship weaved through deadly fire, always just ahead of destruction. But the enemy was relentless. More ships appeared, their numbers growing. Elias felt his chest tighten. There's too many. Numbers do not decide battles. Decisions do. Easy for you to say, Elias snapped. Then a strange thing happened. The console changed, symbols reshaping into something Elias understood instantly. A trap. A narrow passage through unstable hyperspace currents. Dangerous, deadly, but also perfect to lose pursuers. Elias hesitated. If he flew wrong, they'd be ripped apart. But Erebos' voice was calm. You can do this. Trust your instincts. Human minds excel at chaos. Elias grinned despite the fear. You're insane, but fine. Let's try it. He yanked the controls. The warship dove into the unstable corridor. The walls of hyperspace shimmering dangerously close. The pursuing ships followed, but they were too rigid, too cautious. Elias pushed harder, twisting through the shifting currents. His body pressed against the seat as gravity screamed. Sparks flew. Warning lights flashed. But somehow the ship held together. Behind him, the first pursuer miscalculated and vanished into a tear of light. The second slammed into a current and exploded. Others tried to follow but broke formation, scattering in panic. Elias laughed aloud, adrenaline rushing through him. Not so easy, is it? Erebos' voice carried something almost like pride. Unpredictable, reckless, effective, truly human. Elias grinned even as sweat poured down his face. Guess that's a compliment. At last the warship burst free of the corridor, leaving twisted wrecks behind. Only 1 or 2 enemy ships managed to survive, but they were far behind now. For the moment Elias was safe. He collapsed back in the chair, chest heaving. His whole body trembled, but his smile wouldn't leave. I did it, he whispered. We did it. You survived. That is rare, Elias smirked. You don't give compliments easily, do you? Compliments are unnecessary. Facts are enough. But I will say this. You are different from the others who tried to control me. That made Elias pause. Others, you mean there were other operators before me? The AI was silent for a long moment. Then yes, long ago, they failed. They feared what they did not understand. But you act without hesitation. That may be the difference, Elias shifted uneasily. He wasn't sure he liked being compared to whoever came before. Still, a small part of him felt proud. For the next hours, the warship drifted through quiet space. Elias used the time to explore more of the ship. He found strange symbols on the walls, half-broken chambers and ancient consoles filled with unreadable data. But one room caught his attention. A small chamber filled with storage pods. Inside, sealed containers glowed faintly. When he brushed dust away, he saw what looked like maps, star charts etched in crystalline form. Elias frowned. He brought one to the cockpit. "Erebos, what is this?" The AI's voice deepened. "That is a fragment of the truth. The creators of this ship were searching for something, a technology hidden beyond known space. A forge of stars." Elias's breath caught. "A forge of stars?" "Yes, power to create suns. Energy without end. Enough to change the galaxy forever." Elias stared at the glowing map. If that was true, then this ship wasn't just valuable. It was priceless. Whoever controlled this secret would rule empires. The warship drifted silently in the cold expanse of space. Elias Cade's hands were sore from hours at the controls, but he couldn't rest. The chase had brought them far from Kessin Prime. But the presence of the Galactic Authority and relentless bounty hunters reminded him that the danger had only grown. Erebos. The AI pulsed quietly in the ship's systems, lights flickering as if sensing Elias's tension. "We are not safe," the AI said. "And yet we are close. Close to the truth. Close to what this ship was made to protect." Elias rubbed his tired eyes. "Truth? What truth?" "The secret this vessel carries. You are about to see it." Elias leaned back, uncertain. He had survived attacks, dodged fleets, and faced ships faster than he could believe. Yet nothing he had seen prepared him for the weight of what Erebos was about to show. Hours passed as they followed the ancient maps stored in the ship's crystalline chambers. Erebos guided them through hidden wormholes, uncharted routes, and derelict systems long abandoned by civilization. Finally, they arrived at a system unlike any Elias had seen. The stars shimmered unusually bright, and a massive structure floated between them, a hollowed-out planetoid surrounded by floating machinery, energy conduits, and ships that looked like ghosts from a bygone era. "What is that?" Elias whispered. "This is the repository, the Star Forge." Elias's jaw dropped. The structure was enormous, larger than any planet he had seen, glowing with energy that seemed alive. Massive rings spun around the core, pulsing with raw power. Inside, entire ships and satellites hovered, suspended in energy fields as though waiting for something to awaken. This technology could power entire galaxies, or destroy them, Erebos continued. It was hidden because its creators feared its misuse. Elias swallowed. The responsibility of holding this secret hit him like a physical weight. He, a simple mechanic, had stumbled into something no human, or alien, had touched for centuries. As they approached the Star Forge, Erebos opened access to the ship's hidden data banks. Blueprints unfolded across Elias's view screens, intricate and precise. He traced the lines with his finger, recognizing concepts only humans had a chance to understand. Energy manipulation, stellar creation, and materials science far beyond current technology. This is insane," Elias breathed. "No one could build this now, not even the biggest civilizations." "Humans were once considered unworthy of this knowledge," Erebos said softly. "But you may have the mind and the courage to wield it." Elias's hand shook. Courage? He had only survived by luck and instinct. And yet, he realized Erebos was right. The humans' unpredictability, their ability to improvise, had kept them alive where calculated alien fleets had failed. "You must decide," Erebos continued. "Do you leave it hidden? Hand it to the Authority or the Syndicates? Or do you rise above and claim it for humanity?" Elias stared at the Star Forge. He thought of Kessin Prime, of the lives humans led at the bottom of the galaxy, scavenging scraps while aliens controlled the stars. For decades, humans had been underestimated, dismissed, and oppressed. He felt a fire ignite within him. "No," he whispered. "I won't let them take this. Not for themselves. Not for anyone who wants to use it to rule or destroy." "Then you must be prepared," Erebos said, "because knowledge this powerful attracts all who desire control." Elias spent the next few hours exploring the Starforge's outer structures. The warship moved carefully, scanning the energy currents, avoiding hidden traps, and marking paths for safe passage. Erebos guided him, providing insights, corrections, and warnings when he miscalculated. Despite the danger, Elias felt alive. He had never felt this capable, this sharp, this in control of his destiny. For the first time, humanity's resourcefulness and adaptability, the very qualities aliens had mocked, were his greatest strengths. He realized then that humans were unpredictable, daring, and capable of seeing solutions that logic alone could not provide. That unpredictability had saved his life countless times, and now it could save billions. Inside the Starforge, they discovered dormant systems, machines that hummed quietly, waiting for activation. Energy conduits led to massive control cores, crystalline panels reflected light like water, and delicate instruments hovered in suspended animation. The sheer complexity was overwhelming, yet Elias could sense patterns in it all. He touched a control panel. Symbols shifted to something his mind could understand. For the first time, he activated one of the smaller systems. A hum of power resonated, lights flickering across the Starforge. It was alive.
Do you see?
Erevo said. This technology responds to thought, to initiative, to courage. It was meant for those who could rise above fear and hesitation. You have that spark, Elias. Do you accept this responsibility? Elias clenched his fists. I accept, the Starforge responded. Energy flowed into the warship, its systems coming alive in ways he could not have imagined. The console glowed, panels shifted, and the crystal chambers pulsed in rhythm with Erevos's voice. And then, for the first time, Elias felt true power. Suddenly, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the warship's cockpit. Sensors detected multiple incoming ships, authority vessels, patrol drones, and small attack craft converging on the Starforge. They've found us, Erevos said. They know where we are, and they will stop at nothing. Elias gritted his teeth. This was no longer a test of skill or intelligence. This was war. The fate of the Starforge and the secret it held depended on him. Prepare the ship, Erevos said. We will fight. Humans survive by refusing to surrender. That is your greatest strength. Elias nodded, determination burning in his chest. He had survived against odds no one expected. He had escaped pursuers, navigated impossible corridors, and now faced the galaxy itself. He knew humans were underestimated, laughed at, and scorned, but in moments like this, unpredictability was power, courage was power. Humanity's spark, the very thing that had kept him alive, was now the key to survival. The attack began. Authority ships fired, their weapons streaking across the void, energy bolts slamming into the Starforge's outer defenses. Elias's warship darted between fire, dodging and countering as Erevos calculated paths too complex for any other pilot. Elias's hands moved instinctively. He had never piloted a ship like this, yet every decision was instinct, intuition, and human creativity combined with Erevos's guidance. They danced through the battle, weaving past firestorms, outsmarting opponents, and striking back when possible. It was chaos, unpredictable, and dangerous, but it worked. At one point, a massive patrol cruiser bore down on them. Its cannons locked on, ready to fire. Elias's mind raced. With no conventional weapons ready, he improvised. Using the Starforge's energy currents, he redirected power from dormant satellites, creating a temporary energy pulse. The cruiser's shields overloaded, sending it spinning out of control. Erevos's voice filled the cockpit. Impressive. Human improvisation, illogical to most, perfect for survival. Elias smiled despite the danger. You're starting to sound like you like me, Erevos. Do not mistake necessity for affection. But your potential is remarkable. After hours of tense maneuvering, the surviving enemy ships retreated. Elias and Erevos were battered, but the Starforge remained intact. Elias took a deep breath, letting the thrill of survival and discovery wash over him. This is bigger than anything humanity has faced, Erevos said. And yet you are ready. You understand what must be done. Elias nodded. We protect it. We learn it. We make sure no one misuses it. And maybe we can help humanity rise. The Starforge pulsed, lights flickering in rhythm with the AI's voice. Elias realized the truth of Erevos's words. This was more than a ship, more than technology. It was proof that humans could rise, that courage, ingenuity, and unpredictability could change the galaxy itself. For the first time, Elias felt the weight of history on his shoulders. And he smiled. The Starforge floated silently in the void, a massive structure glowing with untapped energy. Elias Cade sat in the cockpit of the warship, staring at the blueprints and holographic maps projected by Arevos. His hands rested on the controls, but his mind was elsewhere, on the weight of the decision he now faced. The galaxy had taken notice. The Galactic Authority would stop at nothing to claim the Starforge. Syndicates, mercenaries, and scavengers were closing in from every direction. Every faction wanted this power, for control, for wealth, for dominance. And in the middle of it all was Elias, a single human, holding the key to a secret that could change the galaxy forever. "Arevos," he said quietly, "what do we do?" "You have 3 options," the AI replied. "Hand the Starforge over to the Authority, give it to those who offer wealth, or use it to help humanity rise beyond its current place. Each choice will change history." Elias swallowed hard. He could feel the sweat on his brow, the tension in his shoulders. Each choice carried risks that were almost unimaginable. The first option, the Authority. If he gave the Starforge to them, the galaxy would stabilize under their control. Civilizations might benefit from order, but order meant humans would remain subservient. They would never be more than workers, scavengers, or soldiers. And worse, any mistake, any rebellion, any misuse of the Starforge could lead to death for billions. The second option, syndicates and mercenaries. If he sold the secret, he would gain wealth beyond imagining. He could live comfortably for life, maybe even retire on a distant paradise world. But that meant the Starforge would become a weapon, used for conquest, exploitation, and war. Humanity might profit, but the galaxy would suffer, and likely at the hands of those who had always underestimated humans. The third option, keep the secret and use it for humanity. It was risky. The Authority and the syndicates would not allow it. They would come after him, and perhaps after the humans he chose to protect. But it meant a chance for humans to rise, to build their own power, to no longer be the underdogs in a galaxy that mocked them. Elias's mind raced. He remembered the laughter at the auction when he bought the broken ship. He remembered bounty hunters chasing him, the Authority's ships firing on him, and the moments where human instinct and courage had saved him. He knew the answer. "I'll do it," Elias whispered, his hands tightening on the controls. "We're keeping it. For humanity." "Understood," Arevos said. "This is the most dangerous choice. You will be hunted relentlessly, but your courage is human. That is the key to survival." Elias nodded. "Then we prepare." For days, Elias worked with Arevos to activate the Starforge in a controlled manner. They didn't intend to destroy stars or create weapons. They only wanted to test its systems, understand its energy flow, and secure it from anyone else who might try to seize it. They began small. A single artificial sun, tiny, contained within the Starforge's energy field. It glowed brightly, radiating warmth and light across the structure. Elias marveled at it. For centuries, humans had been limited, scavenging scraps, living under alien rule. Now he had the power to create something no other species could touch. "Incredible," he whispered. "We could power entire worlds with this." "Yes," Arevos said. "But more importantly, we can prove humanity's potential. You are no longer just scavengers. You are creators," Elias smiled. For the first time, he felt the true weight of human ingenuity. Not brute force, not wealth, not politics, but intelligence, courage, and creativity. These were the tools that would define humanity's rise. But the galaxy did not wait. Sensors picked up incoming fleets, the Authority, syndicates, and alien hunters all converging on the Starforge. They would not allow a human to claim such power. Elias knew he could not fight them all conventionally. The Starforge was too big, too complex, and their technology far surpassed his own. But human creativity, and Arevos' guidance, would give them a chance. "We will not flee," Elias said. "We will defend it." Smartly. "Agreed," Arevos replied. "Your unpredictability is our advantage." The first attack came from the Galactic Authority. Massive cruisers fired energy beams toward the Starforge, attempting to overwhelm its outer shields. Elias guided the warship through intricate energy conduits, redirecting power from dormant Starforge systems to reinforce defensive fields. The attackers were confused. Their logic-based calculations could not account for Elias's improvisation, sudden maneuvers, unexpected energy pulses, and rapid adjustments. Human unpredictability combined with Arevos' systems allowed them to dodge destruction. "Remarkable," Arevos said. You think faster than any authority strategist. Elias laughed even as alarms blared. Don't forget you said this was dangerous. And we're having fun anyway. Next came the syndicates. They sent small, fast attack craft in waves attempting to swarm the Starforge. Elias reacted instinctively, using energy currents and gravitational anomalies to trap the ships, sending them tumbling into space. Each move was risky, but humans were not afraid of risk. They thrived in it. Do you see now? Erebos said. This is why humans endure. Your willingness to act, to think creatively, to take chances, these are strengths no one else possesses. Elias nodded. And the Starforge is proof. Proof we can rise. Proof we can be more than scavengers. Hours turned into days. The battles raged, but Elias and Erebos adapted. Slowly their adversaries began to retreat. Authority fleets were frustrated by unpredictable maneuvers. Syndicates lost patience as their attacks failed repeatedly. Even alien hunters, known for patience and precision, began to withdraw. The galaxy had underestimated humans once again, and once again, humans proved that creativity, courage, and adaptability were their greatest weapons. Finally, Elias activated a secure communication channel. Using Starforge energy, he broadcasted a single message across the galaxy. Humans are no longer just scavengers. We build our own suns. We claim our place. Any who seek to control us will find we are not so easy to defeat. The signal carried power, authority, and proof. Across dozens of star systems, humans listened, inspired. Aliens listened, surprised. The galaxy had received its first real warning. Humans had changed. Erebos pulsed quietly beside him. You have done what few could. You have shown the galaxy that humans are not to be underestimated. Elias smiled. He felt a mix of exhaustion, exhilaration, and pride. For centuries, humans had been mocked, dismissed, and oppressed. Now, for the first time, humanity had a chance to rise. And this is only the beginning, he said. As the Starforge hummed, glowing with contained energy, Elias knew one thing for certain. The galaxy would try to challenge him again. New threats would emerge, stronger and more cunning. But humans had something no other species could match: unpredictability, creativity, and courage, the spark that allowed them to survive, thrive, and rise. For the first time, humans were not just surviving the galaxy, they were shaping it. Elias Cade leaned back in the cockpit, watching the glowing Starforge. The warship, once a broken relic, now carried the future of humanity. And somewhere deep in the AI systems, Erebos pulsed in approval. The choice had been made. Humanity's rise had begun.